my name is Sarah. I am a certified fitness professional with Corporate Fitness Works. I am here today to do a kettlebell focused workout. So some of us that are fortunate enough to have some equipment at home might have a kettlebell, and I will be doing a strength workout focused on utilizing that kettlebell. I also have a dumbbell here because I'm going to demonstrate some options for the exercises to be done with a dumbbell. So if you don't have a kettlebell, but you have a medium weight dumbbell, you'll be able to utilize that as well. If you are new to exercising, or if you haven't been exercising for a long time, I want to encourage you to take breaks when you need to. So you can always pause the video, grab an extra sip of water, take a break, and get back to it when you've started to recover a little bit from the previous exercise. I have a bunch of space to work with here. I want you to make sure that you do too. We'll be moving a little bit in all directions. And we are using equipment, so I want you to make sure that there's nothing in the way, that as we move with that equipment, you wouldn't be able to hit a piece of furniture or a wall. So like I said, I will need either a kettlebell or a dumbbell. You don't need both. I've got a chair that I'm going to use for some modifications of exercises that you're welcome to choose that modification as always. And let's get going. So today I've got 3 circuits or 3 sets of exercises ready for us. One is going to be lower body, one is going to be core, and one is going to be upper body. I'm going to move through all 3 once with you guys. So I'll let you know what the exercises are. I'll go over a demonstration and some safety tips. We'll move through the set of exercises and then we'll move on. We'll be moving at a 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off for each circuit. We're going to start with lower body. As I demonstrate, you're welcome to try out the exercises, make sure they feel okay. But if not, and you want to just get comfortable making sure that you understand all the safety cues, you can just watch for this first part. So I'm going to start off by going through with the kettlebell, and then I will demo the exercise with the dumbbell as well. So we're starting with lower body, like I said. We're going to go with goblet squats to get going. So for our kettlebell, I really like to hold it so that my fingers are inside the handle, and then I have both hands nice and solid gripped on the actual body of the kettlebell. If it's more comfortable for you to hold it by the handle or with the handle facing you, that's totally okay today too, whatever you're comfortable with. The one thing that we do want to make sure of though is that while we're doing this goblet squat, that the hands stay nice and close to the chest. So we're going to hold the piece of equipment up at our chest, but you want to just make sure that as you squat, you don't press the arms out. This isn't a shoulder exercise, it's a lower body exercise, so we want to give those shoulders a little bit of a break here. We're going to take those feet to a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sit those hips back into our squat. So sitting my hips back right here, we're bringing it down so that my thighs are parallel with the floor. I'm keeping my chest up so I'm not hinging forward at the hips and bringing that kettlebell or that dumbbell down towards the ground. And then we're going to find a nice big exhale to press up to standing nice and tall. We want to pay attention to those knees as well and make sure that they are pointing the same direction as our toes, but not drifting out over the toes. We want to make sure that they stay back over those ankles. So again, you can do this exercise with a dumbbell. I've got it held right on the bell here, so I've got a nice solid grip. Same thing, we're going to hold those hands nice and close to the body. You've got that same range of motion. Now, if this is a little bit tough for you, we've got a chair modification for this one. So you can just sit those hips back towards that chair so that they tap down. You've got a little bit of support, and if you need to, you can kind of take the weight off of your feet just a little bit at the bottom, so we're almost actually sitting back and then standing back up. But it's going to be tougher the less you take the weight off of those feet, so if you can just tap those hips down and bring them back up, it's going to be a little bit tougher for this exercise. Okay. Second lower body exercise that we've got is a kettlebell swing. So this exercise is great because it really engages the glutes and the hamstrings, and you can again take it up as a core and a cardio exercise as well. So we're doing it for 30 seconds. So hopefully the heart rate starts to get up a little bit through the course of that 30 seconds. We're going to hold the kettlebell right here in between those hands. So I've got both hands on it. I'm going to have a slight bend through my knees. So this exercise Once again, is lower body, so we don't want to take those shoulders into it. We're not lifting forward with our arms here. This range of motion is all through our hips. I've got a slight bend through my knees. The first thing that we're going to do is just push that butt backwards. So I'm hinging forward at those hips. I'm pushing my butt backwards. The kettlebell comes just slightly between my legs. Then this is where the explosive range of motion, the cardio part of this comes from. We're going to use this range of motion next to propel those arms up. So not using our shoulder muscles, but using those hips. So it's going to be a press forward with those hips. I'm really using the momentum. I'm not even lifting with my shoulders at all. The momentum of my hips is carrying that kettlebell up towards the ceiling to right about even with my shoulders. So we're not coming up overhead with the kettlebell here. We're just coming to nice and even up towards the face, and then it comes back down. Just be careful when you stop this exercise that you catch it with a little bend in your knees, and then let those arms swing a little bit so we don't want to hurt the back as we stop that exercise. Again, you can do this with a dumbbell. For this exercise, if you're doing it with a dumbbell, I just want you to make sure that you have a good grip on the dumbbell. You don't want to let it fly just because it doesn't have a good handle. So making sure that you have a good grip on the, once again, bell of your dumbbell. Same stance, same setup. We're holding those hands down low. We're bringing those hips back, and we're using that range of motion to really propel the dumbbell up towards even with those shoulders. Same concept. But like I said, making sure you have that nice strong grip on the edge of your dumbbell. Okay. Up next, we have a lunge with a pass through. So this one, you want to make sure that your feet and your arms are kind of in sync. So we've got a little coordination here, but we're going to hit our lunge. So it's going to be an alternating lunge. You can move forward, which is going to be a little tougher, or into a reverse lunge, which will be just a little bit easier. I'm going to go over the forward lunge first. So I'm starting with my kettlebell or our dumbbell in the right arm. So this is going to work the same way for both pieces of equipment. You would just hold the dumbbell in your hand. Our left leg is going to step forward first. So for our lunge, the left leg steps forward. The piece of equipment is in that right arm. We're going to bend at both knees to bring it down towards the floor. Checking out that knee, make sure it points the same direction as the toe, but isn't shifting out over. And then we're just going to pass through the front. So see, my hips are facing my piece of equipment. We're passing through the front, and then we're stepping back to that nice centered position. Now it's in my left hand. I'm going to step my right leg out long, opposite side, passing through, stepping up, pressing through my heel to bring that lunge back up to standing tall. We're going to find movement with the opposite foot for our reverse lunge. So I'm going to demo this with the dumbbell. It would be the same concept with the kettlebell, and same vice versa for that forward lunge. So our dumbbell, we've got it in the right hand. We're actually going to move that right foot for this one. So with my right leg, I'm going to step back. I'm going to pass through as I bend through both knees, and then I'm going to take that right foot back up to meet. Now the dumbbell or the kettlebell is in my left hand. I'm doing my reverse lunge, so I'm stepping at the same side, right here, pass through. We're still trying to keep our chest up high, so not hinging forward and bringing the chest down towards the thigh, but keeping it up nice and proud and broad collarbones here. So that's our lunge and our pass through. Up next, we've got a squat hold, and you can add a figure eight. So if the figure eight is going to be tough, I encourage you to keep it at that squat hold, with or without weight, whichever works for you. If you get into that squat hold and you feel like you could use a little more challenge, you can take it up to that figure eight. So either of these works. I'm going to start by demoing with our kettlebell here. We're taking it into our squat position. Now our figure eight, we're trying to move with those arms and not with the upper body as much as possible. So we're passing it once again through the center, just like we did with that lunge and pass, grabbing with that other hand and bringing it around. So I'm using my arms, but we're not moving too quickly. So it's not like a basketball figure eight where your goal is to go as fast as possible. We want this to be slow and controlled, and we're always coming through the front. Once again, you can do this with our dumbbell. We're right here in that squat hold, passing through the center, moving with those arms. We've got a little bit of side to side with that torso, but we're not moving too much up and down. We're keeping it nice and stable here, trying to keep those knees bent. Now again, if that's a little bit tough, you don't quite have that range of motion, I encourage you to just find that squat hold, work on keeping that chest high. And this is still a really tough exercise for those legs. Finally, we've got a single leg deadlift, one of my favorite lower body exercises. So this works a little bit of balance. We've also got those hamstrings and glutes once again. I'm going to use my chair to demonstrate this because, like I said, a little bit of balance, so it's nice to have something near you that you can utilize to help with that. So this will work the same way with your kettlebell and with your dumbbell. So you're just going to hold it in that hand. So I'm going to demo with the kettlebell, but the same concept would be, we would just be holding that dumbbell right here. Palm is going to face in towards the body as we hinge at the hips. So I've got my kettlebell. It's in my left hand right now, and my left leg is going to move because that's going to help me keep my hips nice and centered. My right knee has a slight bend in it. It's going to maintain that bend through this whole range of motion. As I move, I'm going to hinge at my hips. I'm going to send my left leg back, and I'm going to bring my hands down towards this chair. So the chair is a little bit away from me. I can't quite touch it. Gives me a point to reach out for when I hinge at my hips and bring my chest down. So, like I said, my left leg is going to come back. That kettlebell or that dumbbell is going to track towards the floor, and then we're going to come back up. So I've got my chair for support. My hand comes down to it. See, I lost my balance a little bit, but I was able to catch myself because I had my hand. I could bring my foot down. I'm going to recenter, and I'm going to bring it back up. So once again, hand comes down to that chair. Leg comes back. I've got a slight bend in my standing knee, and then I'm coming back up. Now, one thing I want you to watch out for is this toe should stay pointed towards the ground. So as we send it back, that hip stays closed. So if you start to open up, that's going to take a lot of the work out of this exercise. We want to keep those hips nice and closed. And right here, we're going to do this one twice through. So we'll have 30 seconds on one leg and 30 seconds on the other. All right. So we have got our exercises. Grab your piece of equipment. We've got 30 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds of rest. We're going to move through this once and get that lower body really moving here. All right, so first up, our goblet squat. Grab your equipment, bringing it to that chest. We're going to get started with our first 30 seconds in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So 30 seconds, we're sitting those hips back, checking out those knees, making sure they're pointing the same direction as those toes. We're really bringing it up with an exhale, keeping it moving through our range of motion. Nice job, you guys. Keep that kettlebell or that dumbbell nice and close to the chest. 10 seconds left here. Nice work. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, our swing is next. Bringing those hands right in between. 10 seconds rest here, and then we'll get started. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get going. We've got 30 seconds of these swings. This is when you want to make sure you don't have a wall right behind you or in front of you. We've got a nice grip on our piece of equipment, staying nice and safe. We've got a nice long spine, so we're not letting the spine round out. We're not letting that low back arch. We've got 10 seconds here. Keep breathing. We're using those hips. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, up next is our lunge with our pass through. So again, same side foot if you're stepping backwards, opposite side foot if you're stepping forwards. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Lunging, passing through, alternating sides here. Whew. Great work, you guys. Here we go. Stick with me. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, taking that break, we've got our figure 8 up next in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we've got our squat hold. We're passing in through the center. Nice and slow and controlled here. Finding that little bit of work through those quads as we hold down in this squat position. 15 seconds left here. Nice work. All right. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. 10 seconds rest. Our last 2 exercises are that single leg deadlift. I've got my chair here ready to go. We've got 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that same side leg that the piece of equipment is in goes backwards. We're hinging at those hips. Make sure you don't lock out that standing leg. Nice work, you guys. 10 seconds left here on this leg. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. 10 seconds rest. We're just switching legs for this second exercise in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So I've got my chair to use as support. I'm keeping my hips nice and even. Toe is pointed towards the ground as it extends up. Nice work. Looking good. Keep it going for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, take a break. Nice work, you guys. So if you would like to do legs back to back, you can circle back to that first exercise. Goblet squat, kettlebell swing, lunge, pass through figure 8, both sides, single leg deadlift. I'm gonna move to our core segment. So take a little break, grab a little drink if you need it, and I will get going explaining our next little bit of work. So we are going to start with a Russian twist. So again, all of these can be done with our kettlebell or a dumbbell. If you want that mat, you're welcome to sit on a mat or a towel. Once again, I've got that grip on the bell of my kettlebell. You can hold the dumbbell that you have any of a couple of ways depending on your comfort level. Some people like to hold it here with hands on either side. Some people like to hold it right in the center or maybe on that center bar, whatever works for you. So this one, I like to focus a lot on slow and controlled range of motion and opening those shoulders. So our goal is not necessarily to tap down that kettlebell to the ground on either side because we want to focus on, once again, our core, not our shoulders. So we're starting with a nice 45-degree angle of the spine. My spine is nice and long. For a little bit lower of a modification, you can A, sit up a little bit higher, or B, keep those heels on the ground. To take this up a notch, you can pull those heels off the ground and sit that torso back a little bit lower. We're just gonna do a nice easy twist side to side, slow and controlled, turning those shoulders in one direction. So see my kettlebell doesn't come quite down to the floor, moving through center and over to that other side. So we're focusing on that torso twist side to side, not on tapping it down to that side if we can't quite reach that without extending those arms down and letting them fall. Second, we've got a tall sit-up. So this can be done with or without weight. So I'm going to demo with weight, but you don't need a weight for this exercise. We're going to start with those knees bent, those feet planted, and our back on the floor. With the weight, you can put those hands up towards the ceiling. It's going to remind us that it is a tall sit-up and not just a sit-up. As we exhale, we're going to come all the way up as tall as we can towards the ceiling. So we're extending up nice and high and then controlled rolling back down. If you want to do this without weight, or if you can't quite get that sit-up down with the weight and you want to use those hands for a little momentum, you can take those hands behind the head. As you exhale and sit up, use them for a little momentum. Press them up tall to tall, long spine here at the top, and then back down and over that head. Same concept as the kettlebell with the dumbbell, holding it up towards the ceiling, coming up nice and high, and then nice and controlled back down towards the floor. After that, we've got a plank pass through. All right, so our plank can be done from the toes, or if you need a little bit of a break for that core today, you can bring those knees down to the floor. We're still creating a nice long line from the knees up to the shoulders, so not trying to press those hips back, but keeping our nice stable plank position. Our pass through is going to be done from the outside we're going to take our opposite hand and grab and pass through. So I'm going to demo from the side once with the kettlebell and then the front with the dumbbell. We're coming up to that plank position, so our shoulders are right over our wrists. I'm going to transfer my weight to my right hand because the kettlebell is on the outside of my right hand. I'm going to take my left hand through, I'm going to pull it and set it down and switch side to side. So I'm just in this plank position, or alternating hands, passing that weight through. Now from the front, once again, we want to make sure that we're going in the correct direction. So dumbbell is outside my right hand. I'm just going to demo from here because I can't quite extend my legs back and have you still see my hands. My hands are the important parts here. I'm extending back into a plank. Dumbbell is outside my right hand. I'm going to transfer my weight to my right hand, take my left hand, reach underneath, and pull this dumbbell through, set it outside, set my hand down. Opposite hand comes through underneath and pulls through. So we're pulling away, not pushing through. So I'm not lifting this hand and pushing it through. I'm lifting this hand and pulling it through. After that, we're going to bring it up to standing. We've got an axe chop twist here. So our feet are wide. One of the really important parts of this is that our heels are going to release as we turn from side to side. I'm going to start with either my dumbbell or my kettlebell at my chest. I'm going to go side to side, I'm going to do all one side for 15 seconds, and then I'm going to switch sides and do the second side for our second 15 seconds. I'm going to lift my right heel and pivot that hip. I'm going to bring the weight down to my left hip. Then from here, I'm going to bring this foot down, I'm going to pivot my left heel, and I'm going to press up. So it's this rotational strength. We're coming down across and then up and away, a little upper body in this one because it is a press away, but we're using those hips and that core to stay nice and strong through center. We'll do that for 15 seconds. We'll bring it back to center. We'll switch. Once again, those heels lift as I turn my hips in. After that, two options for this next one. So I'm going to demo with the dumbbell, but it can be done the same way with the kettlebell. If you would like to do it without weight, this is also totally possible without weight. We want to keep our lower back nice and safe. So we've got our footwork up next, so a little Pilates in this. We're going to add a challenge by adding that weight if you would like to. So if you want to add the weight, you can take those hands up towards the ceiling, nice and stable. Same thing with that kettlebell. From here, we're going to take our feet to our 90 degrees, and then we're going to press out and long. So we're extending out, that weight stays up tall, and then we're coming back to here. So our weight is just a stable isometric hold here. It's just to add a little bit of challenge. If you would like, those hands can come out wide or under those hips for a little bit more stability. Now, to change the difficulty of this beyond adding and subtracting that weight, the higher towards the ceiling you take your feet, the easier this exercise will be. So right here, this is going to be a pretty easy version of this. And then the more challenging will be the lower towards the floor. So more towards the floor is going to be a lot tougher. I want you to think about that low back and make sure that it's not lifting and lowering a whole ton as you extend those feet out. It should maintain about the same neutral amount of arch all the way through that range of motion. So if you bring it down to here and your whole back pops up off the floor, I want you to just decrease that range of motion, take it up towards the ceiling a little bit higher. Same thing with that weight in those hands. Finally, we've got a pass under. So I'm going to start in that same position as I was for our Russian twist. I've got my weight right here. I've got my little bit of lean backwards. I'm going to take my weight on my right side and I'm going to lift my left leg. So I'm right here, left leg lifted. I'm going to pass under that weight to my right hand, set my left leg down and lift my right. So I'm just passing back and forth here. So this might be, again, a little tough with the weight. If you've got smaller hands like me, making sure that you have the right size or making sure that you have that grip on the handle before you let go with that first hand. So a little tougher with that dumbbell, making sure I have space to grip and grabbing it side to side here. Nice little pass through. The lower down you bring that torso, the more difficult this exercise will be. Alrighty, so 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We're starting with our Russian twist up first in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So here we go. We've got those heels down or up. We're focusing on bringing those shoulders side to side, not necessarily on tapping that dumbbell or that kettlebell down to the floor. Nice and controlled with that range of motion. We're halfway through this exercise. Keep breathing here, you guys. You got this. Nice work. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Up next is our tall sit-up. So we're just rolling it down towards the floor. If you want that weight, you can use it. If you don't want that weight, you can set it to the side. We're getting going in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So tall sit-up, long spine at the top of every single one, controlled on the way down, keeping those arms nice and long. Nice big exhale to come up off the floor. You can always use those arms for momentum if you don't have that weight in your hands. 10 more seconds here. Stick with it. Nice work. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've got our plank pass through next. So I'm taking my weight to the outside of my right. I'm getting ready for my plank. 3, 2, 1. Taking it up. I'm taking my left hand, reaching underneath and grabbing. So making sure that you reach that opposite hand under to grab that weight. 15 seconds in, 15 seconds to go right here. Okay, keeping those hips as stable and even as you can, so trying not to let them rock side to side. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're standing it up next. We've got those twists, 15 seconds in each direction in 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm starting down and up in this direction. 15 seconds here. We've already gone 10. We're switching directions in 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Switch those sides. Nice. Good work, you guys. Keep breathing here. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Up next, we've got that Pilates move, that footwork. Bringing it back down to the floor. If you want that weight, you can use it. We're getting going in 3, 2, 1. So again, lengthening those legs only as far as you can while keeping that back nice and stable, the lower towards the ground. The harder this will be, don't forget to breathe here. Stick with it. You guys got this. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Up last in this round, pass unders. We've got that weight on one side in one hand. We're leaning it back. We're getting going in 3, 2, 1. Lifting that opposite leg and passing through the center. Making sure you have a good grip on that weight before you let it go. The further you lean back, the tougher this will be. Nice work, you guys. Past halfway. We've got another 10 seconds left. Keep going. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Taking a little break. Grab a drink. Once again, if you want to do that one twice in a row, you can pop back to that Russian twist, tall sit-up, plank pass through, our axe chop twists, footwork, Pilates move, and those pass unders. 6 exercises there. Okay, I'm gonna grab a drink, and then we're gonna go through our upper body exercises. Hope you guys are feeling good. I definitely am. I'm a little out of breath. Whew. All right. Finally, we've got upper body. Once again, we've got 6 exercises. We are gonna start with a bent over row. It's gonna be single arm, so we're gonna do it twice through. Our bent over row can be done with or without the chair. So I'm gonna demo without the chair with my dumbbell. I'll demo with the chair with the kettlebell. Without our chair, I have the dumbbell in my left hand. I have my right foot forward and my left leg back. Now I'm going to bring this kind of into a lunge, but I'm going to use my right elbow for a little bit of support. So I'm bending through that right knee, my right elbow comes down, my left arm extends, my palm faces in towards my body. I'm nice and stable here, my heel is up, we're not turning that knee out, but we're stable in this lunge. Now for our row, we're going to keep our elbow nice and close to the body, row up towards the chest, and then back down. So we're activating through those muscles in the back. To switch, you would just switch so that opposite leg is forward, that opposite arm has our dumbbell or our kettlebell. Now to use that chair, rather than coming into our lunge and using that elbow for support, I've got my chair here. I'm just putting my arm down on that chair, so a little bit less hinge of those hips is necessary, a little bit less stability in that lunge is required. My hand is on my chair. My opposite leg is still forward. I've got a little bend through that front knee. My chest faces the ground. Same thing, that elbow stays nice and close, and we're rowing up and back down, extending long. Once again, we will do that twice, 30 seconds on each side. After that, we've got a chest press. We're gonna go through our chest press twice because I only have one dumbbell and one kettlebell, so I'm gonna demo a 2-arm chest press that you can just do twice depending on how you're feeling today, or you can do single arm, which I will also demo. So first, our 2-arm with our kettlebell, we're down on the floor. Now, if you feel really good about your chest press and your core strength, and you would like, those knees can come up to 90 degrees. If you feel a little unstable or you feel like your core is not super strong right now, I encourage you to just bend those knees and plant those feet. Now for our 2-arm with the kettlebell, once again, I want you to hold it however feels comfortable, but we want that bell right in the center of the chest. So it's gonna be a close grip chest press. Those hands are right in here. The elbows are gonna come down to the outside and then press back up. So this one kind of limits our range of motion a little bit, but if you have a heavier kettlebell, this might work a little bit better for you if you don't do a whole ton of free weight chest press. Now for single arm for my kettlebell, I'm gonna demo with my left because it's close to you. I have this nice even grip on the bell, so once again, my hand is inside that handle, but I have my full hand on the actual weight. We're gonna do the same thing that we would with a 2-arm chest press, but we're just trying to keep nice and centered, so this is actually also a core challenge. You're bringing that elbow down to about a 45-degree angle, and then a nice exhale to press back up. Now for this one, again, if you feel really stable and you're on the floor, so if you're on a bench, if you have a bench at home, do not lift those legs up. But if you're on the floor and you want to really decrease that core stability here and challenge it, you can lift those knees, and that single side is going to really create that unevenness. We'll switch sides to even out the core evenness here and that arm evenness, but we really have to engage the core to stay nice and centered. And then you would switch. Same concept for that dumbbell. If you only have one that's the right weight, you can bring those hands to the bells, and then same thing, the hands come down and back up. If you have 2 dumbbells, like a lot of you do, you're welcome to do that 2-arm dumbbell chest press, same thing. Or if you would like to do that little bit of core challenge, once again, you can put that single arm dumbbell, you can find that lower and that lift right there, tapping that elbow down to the floor and back up. After that, we've got a triceps extension. So we've hit the chest, we've hit the back, we're gonna hit our triceps. I've got my kettlebell. I'm gonna extend it up nice and tall. I'm keeping my core strong, so we're not letting the low back come out. We wanna keep a nice long spine here. I'm just gonna bend and extend at the elbows with both of those arms. So it's a bend and an extend. I'm not using my back. I'm just using my triceps to move here. Same thing with our dumbbell. You can grab it at that bell so that it hangs behind the head, bringing it down, at the handle, so that it hangs down, bringing it down and back up. There we go. Or you can grab both of those bells so that it faces sideways, and same thing, a little bend and extend. We want the elbows to point forward, bringing it in and out. Okay. After that, we've got halos. So this is kind of a shoulder mobility exercise. So if your dumbbell's a little bit light or your kettlebell's a little bit light, this one is still great. Or maybe you just do range of motion here, acting like you have a plate or a kettlebell in between those hands. So our halos, we're going to start in that same position. We're trying not to move through the shoulders side to side, but we're just moving the arms. So our goal is to bring the kettlebell around behind the head and back down to center, and then switch sides in that other direction. Now, if you don't quite have that shoulder mobility, maybe it comes a little bit up over the head instead, side to side once again. But we're just working on that mobility. So if you have a little bit lighter of an option, and you've been going with a pretty heavy kettlebell, maybe grabbing that lighter option for the first couple of reps, making sure that you've got that mobility to perform this exercise. You can do the same thing with our dumbbell, holding those sides, bringing it around behind the head, and then back in that other direction. Finally, we've got the front raise. So since I have a little bit heavier of a dumbbell and a kettlebell than I would normally do for a 2-arm front raise, I'm going to keep that right in between and kind of split the weight between. If you've got 2 lighter dumbbells that you wanted to use, you're welcome to use those for your front raise. Slight bend in those knees, nice strong core, so we're not locking out the knees. And then it's just going to be, like it says, a front raise right up to even with the collarbones, and then right back down. So up to even with those collarbones, and then back down. We don't want to bring it up overhead and let that low back release. Now the other thing here is that this one, we are working those shoulders. So it's not a kettlebell swing where our hips are coming forward. We don't want to use our back to lift. We just want to find that nice little lift and lower, nice and even, utilizing those shoulders. Now, if the weight that you have is a little bit much for your front raise, then you are welcome to just decrease that range of motion a little bit. You're still getting a lot of good work, but we're just not putting those shoulders at risk and that back at risk. All right, last set of exercises, you guys. We're gonna hit this upper body, and we are starting with our bent over row. 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Let's get going in 4, 3, 2, 1. So once again, this bent over row, you've got that nice stable position. We're using that elbow nice and close to the body. We're extending it up towards the ceiling. Whew, nice exhale as we pull it up. We're gonna do 30 seconds on each arm. So staying with that same arm for another 10 seconds. You guys got this. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your 10-second break. We're gonna switch those sides, so taking that weight to that other arm in 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go, second side for our bench over row. Nice work, you guys. Keep that elbow nice and close to the body as you pick it up. Don't let it wing out wide to the side. We want to keep our shoulders safe while we work on our back here. Nice job. We've got 10 more seconds here. Stick with it. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, up next, we're bringing it down. We've got our chest press. I'm going to do single arm. We're going to go through this one twice. So if you want to do both arms, you are welcome to do so twice in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 30 seconds on that press, bringing those elbows to about a 45-degree angle. So not straight out to the side, not right down next to the body like our row. 10 more seconds here. Nice big exhale as you press up towards the ceiling. We've got 3, 2, 1. Okay, given that 10-second break, we've got our second set of chest press. So if you're doing that 2-arm, we're just doing it a second time in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Nice exhale to extend. 30 seconds here. Nice work, you guys. Stick with it. Keep that core nice and stable. We're staying centered. 10 more seconds. Way to work. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're bringing it up for our triceps extension. I'm gonna do it kneeling just so that you can see my arms that fully extended. We're getting going in 4, 3, 2, 1. So our back stays nice and strong, so we're not letting the low back arch out towards the front of the room. Our core stays nice and strong, so we've got a nice stable base here, extending and bending at those elbows. Nice work, you guys. Whew, 10 more seconds here. Stick with it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, up next is our halos. We've got that shoulder mobility exercise in 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we're just bringing it around, and then we're taking it back. So really finding that shoulder mobility, trying not to move your back, so we're not extending our backs to get that weight around. We're just moving through those arms. Nice work. 10 more seconds here. Stick with it. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, nice work, you guys. Last exercise here, we've got our front raise. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So once again, we've got our nice strong core. We're nice and stable through that back, not letting it arch out at all, while lifting with those shoulders. So if you find that you're swinging your back backwards at all, I want you to just decrease that range of motion. We're past halfway. Last exercise here. Nice work, you guys. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, take a break. Nice work. Once again, if you want to hit that a second time, you can do those exercises, our row, our chest press, our triceps extension, halos, and our front raise one more time through. If you went through all the way without repeating, but you want a little bit more work, you can go back right to the beginning of this segment of the video. We've got goblet squat, swing, lunge and pass, figure 8, single leg deadlift. Our second one, we've got that Russian twist, our tall sit up, our plank pass through, those standing chop twists, our Pilates footwork, and our pass under from those hips, passing it underneath. And then, once again, these exercises we just did, our row, our high pull, our row, our chest press, our triceps extension, halos, and our front raise. Great work, you guys. Thanks for sticking with me.